Well, hello, welcome. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. This is Here's to Your Good Health. This is a show for you, by you, and about you. Everything we can do for each other to have good health. So tonight I'm just going to talk about me. I'm kind of out of subjects. We've covered a lot of subjects here and had a lot of guests here, and I just thought, you know, I'm always interested in how other people got to where they are. You know, you just didn't wake up, you just didn't get born and your mom said, well, you're going to be a nurse practitioner in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. That's not how it worked for me, and I just kind of feel it's not how it works for all of you either. So, we're going to talk about me. However, I'm live. I'm sorry, I'm kind of cold. I took a little nap before I got on, so I'm a little chilly yet. Anyway, we're live tonight, so you can call me at 407-1111. And if you have any health question or problem, just call me and I'll be happy to address it. I'm not going to take up this whole hour just talking about me. If you've got a question about diabetes, arthritis, actually let's just talk about arthritis for a little bit, because I hate it. I just don't like arthritis. It hurts. And you know, my what is this? My left hip here has been hurting me, and that's the side I had that surgery on. I went, oh no, what has happened? Don't tell me my back's gone out on me. But as the days have gone by, my back and my side have been hurting me for about a week, and I finally realized today, no dummy, it's not your surgery that's giving you the hard time. It's the cold weather, and your hip has got arthritis in it. So, you know, arthritis kind of comes and goes. It will flare up if you've got it in a joint. Your knee can get swollen. It can be hot to the touch. Your knuckles, your elbow, whatever, shoulders. And it will come, it will flare up. It'll get red, hot, and then it'll get back to normal again. And that's kind of how arthritis works. Now, some people are plagued with it, and they have it 24/7, 365, and that's when it's really bad. I don't have that kind of arthritis. I've got it. I get it in a couple of knuckles, and then I've started getting it in my hips. And I like to lay on my side when I sleep. I get in a fetal position and lay on my side and curl up, and sometimes my hips don't like that, and I have to lay on my back, and I feel like I don't get as much rest on my back, but you do what you got to do. So how do we treat arthritis? Well, the good news is it usually comes and goes. The bad news is there really isn't any good treatment for it other than surgery and joint replacements. So there are a few medicines out there. You know, you can take the Tylenol Extra Strength, ibuprofen, Aleve, those kind of things over the counter, excuse me, and that helps some, but it really doesn't do the trick for everything all the time. There are a couple of drugs out there. One is called meloxicam. That can help some. Some people swear by it. Other people say it's like taking candy. You know, it all depends upon your pain tolerance, where you hurt, how long you hurt, and your body, because how it works for you and how you feel is not going to be the same as how things work for me. So, you know, it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to arthritis. Excuse me. I don't know why I yawn every time I get in front of this camera. I tried, like I just ate a little piece of hamburger and some riced cauliflower and onion for supper and some applesauce. So it shouldn't be because I'm still digesting. I don't know. I think I hit these bright lights in this camera and I'm like, oh, it's time to yawn now. Anyway, so arthritis. Some people have it moderately. I would call my arthritis a mild case. I wouldn't even call it moderate, because I don't hurt a lot, and when I do, I mean, it hurts. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't have it near as bad as my husband does. He's got really bad arthritis. He had a lot of arthritis in his family. His grandmother had it, his daddy had it, and he's passed that down to my daughter. My boys don't complain too much about arthritis, but my daughter does. She's got it pretty bad. She learns to live with it. So the first line of defense is actually exercise, and yoga is great for arthritis because it helps stretch those muscles, and it works really well. And she's a yoga instructor, so that helps her a lot. But she's very faithful. She exercises every day. I used to be that way when I was young. I was her age. I'm not that way. I need to exercise more so I wouldn't be so sleepy at 7 o'clock at night, I think. But anyway, so our exercise is the first line of defense. So if you can walk, of course, now my hip hurts. So what do you do when your hip hurts? Well, then you join the Y and go and swim, because you can do a lot of good exercise, and there's no pressure on your joints if you're in the water. And Manual Physical Therapy has a exercise pool there, and I believe they have some, like I don't know if it's a physiologist or a physical therapist or somebody that will help you, and you can ride bike underwater over there and that kind of thing. So there's alternatives for those of you who it hurts to walk. And of course then there's the joint replacements, and you can replace a knuckle, you can replace a knee, you can replace an ankle, you can replace a shoulder. So there's that, you know. Losing weight helps. The more weight you take off, the less pressure on your joints, so that helps as well. I mean, my daughter has never been big, but she lost about 15 pounds because she wanted to be her optimum weight and not put so much pressure on her joints. So losing weight, exercising. Then there's meloxicam, there's Celebrex. Those are prescribed medicines. You can get a joint injection. You know, we talked about a lot of this, I think it was last week with Dr. Nelson. But you know, some providers in their offices do the shots, the injections in the joints. I don't do it, but several people, in our office do it. Or you can go to the orthopedic. Of course, they all do it. So that's my little spiel on arthritis. Now I got the hiccups, y'all. What in the world? So let's go, we're going to talk about me, for lack of a better subject. I was born and raised in a small town in Minnesota called Willmar, Minnesota. It's about 100 miles west of Minneapolis. It's in the southern part of the state. And, you know, Midwest is known for its nice people. People in the Midwest, for the most part, are nice. Things have changed a lot since I grew up, you know, and I'm not going to go into that because that could get into some politics, and I'm not going to do that either. But anyway, I was raised, it was a small community, about 20,000 people. But it was kind of a big hub for all the small little towns around. And when I say small little towns, I mean I'm talking 700, 800, 1,200, things like that. So, you know, towns that were 15, 20 miles from Willmar, they would go into Willmar to go shop. So I went to school there. I graduated from high school there. And I went to the local community college, and I got a degree in medical office assistant. And so I stayed there for a while, and after I finished, I worked, and you know, I had an apartment with some friends and stuff like that. But I was really tired of the cold weather. I don't mind the cold around here, but you know, you're talking below zero. I remember I lived across the street in an apartment complex across the street from where I worked. And I would have my nose would be bundled up to here, and I'd have a hat on. All you could do was see my little eyes. And I mean, it was 5 below, and that kind of cold, it just, you inhale and you just feel like your lungs are going to stop working because they're so frozen. And it was just a hop, skip, and a jump, but man, it was cold. And I decided I didn't want to live in that cold weather anymore. I wanted something else. And so when I was early 20s, I went to visit a friend who lived in Santa Monica, California. She was from the same area as me, and she and I were friends. We worked in a supper club together as waitresses, and she went off to the big city of LA, and I stayed for a little bit longer until I just got so sick of the cold weather I couldn't take it anymore. So when I moved there, I went to stay with my friend in an apartment building, and she lived with her brother, and her brother had a friend named Bob. And so I met Bob, and that's how I met Bob Prezioso. And we fell in, I say we fell in lust before we fell in love, but anyway, we got married. My mother-in-law, now Bob is from New Jersey, so he had already left his hometown of Trenton and was on the West Coast. And so we met, we got married, we had, I guess we had all 3 of our kids there. Yeah, we did. And we decided that LA was not the place we wanted to raise our kids. Bob was from a bigger city, Trenton, you know, and that's close to New York City and close to Philadelphia. So he was more of the city boy. I was more of the country girl, although I lived in town. My mom, who was from that area, all of her sisters lived on farms, and so I spent a lot of time playing with cousins and going to farms. A lot of my girlfriends from school were farmers, and so I spent a lot of time on farms. So I've always loved the country. Never really lived in the country until we just built our place here a couple years ago. So we decided that we did not want to have our kids. And we were real involved in our church at that time. We had what we called a college career group that we led. It was kids, well, they were kids to us, that were 18 to 30, and they either were in college or they were in their early careers. And so we would get together on Friday nights, and somebody would bring a guitar, and we'd sing and praise the Lord and have a Bible study and that kind of thing. And that was really fun. And I still keep in contact with some of those kids today, so that's fun. And Bob, he's an ordained minister, and when we came to Rocky Mount, we had intentions of starting a church. But you know, it's a lot more free in California and even in Minnesota than it was here in the deep Bible Belt South. And we came from a charismatic background, and so, you know, we said praise the Lord out loud, and we lifted our hands in prayer and praise and that kind of thing, and that wasn't real welcomed around here too much. So anyway, to make a long story short, that did not work out. So, you know, we kind of settled in here. It took a while to get used to the Southern way of living. It took a while to get used to how people acted. They're very clannish here. They're very stick together. You stick with your family. And you know, in Southern California, nobody had family. Everybody had moved in from somewhere else. And so I was used to having Thanksgiving with 10 different friends and their families. You know, everybody would bring potluck, that kind of thing. And you don't have too much of that down here. And so that was kind of a big change I had to get used to. And then I found out that people say, well, y'all come see me sometime. They don't really mean that. Because that, you know, come on, my neighbors would, after we got here and bought a house and moved in, you know, my neighbors said, well, come on over anytime, we'll have coffee. Well, hi, because that's what you did in Southern California, and actually that's what we did in Minnesota. If I said come on over for coffee, I meant it, and I meant that if you stop at my door and knock and say, hello, I'm going to put the coffee pot on. But they didn't mean that here. So I had to learn those kind of things. And I didn't like it very much to begin with, to tell you the truth. But we got settled in. You know, I got my kids to school. My youngest son was a baby. He spent his first birthday here. So, and my dad had passed away, and my mom, I'm an only child, and so she came to live with us. And she developed Alzheimer's, and so it was, she stayed with us for a while, and I was very guilty about not being able to take care of her like I wanted to. But I remember vividly one time, I was changing my son's pants. He was a baby, and Mom had an accident in her pants. And so I said, Mom, let me finish up changing Philip's pants, and then you go in the bathroom and turn on the bath and we'll get you cleaned up. So poor Mom, she didn't know how to do it, and so she turned the water on the spigot, and she was trying to crouch under the spigot in the bathtub. And at that time, I belonged to a group called the Newcomers Group, because that was about the time that CDC, is it CDC? Whatever that place is out there in Whitaker's, they were, you know, they were opening, and they had a lot of people moving down here to take technology jobs and machine shop jobs and stuff like that. People were moving down to help work in those places. They didn't have all the help they needed in this area. So I knew a lot of different people from other states and that kind of thing. And so that was, I think, about once a week, maybe every other week, and I would go to that. I'd bring Philip to a daycare for a couple hours, and then I'd go and I'd do my thing. So Mom was getting harder and harder to take care of. I had 3 kids. Philip was in diapers, you know, and then Louie was busy playing soccer and that kind of thing, and Sarah was in dance, and so I was busy, you know, running kids here, doing that. I didn't work. I was a stay-at-home mom, and so that was, it was good. I enjoyed it, but you know, all good things have got to come to an end, and you got to move on to a different part of your life. And so we put Mom in a nursing home, which was very, very hard for me to do. I felt very guilty, but I just couldn't keep up with 3 children, a husband, a home, and a sick mom. And so I went to one of the newcomers meetings, and one of my friends said, I don't know what you've done, Linda. I don't know what has happened, Linda, but you look like the weight of the world has come off of you. And that's because I didn't have to worry about my mom anymore. So it's already time for our first break, so we will break right now, and when we come back, I'll keep telling you all about my saga. Don't go away, and if you got a call, give us a call at 407-1111 if you got a question. Hang on, we'll be right back.
At Downey's Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Downey's Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Down East Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
Hi, welcome back. This is Here's to Your Good Health. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. And we're talking about me tonight. I find it interesting to know what people do for a living and how they got there and what made them decide to do that. So I decided I'd talk about myself tonight because I didn't have a guest. And a lady called during the commercial and said, you know, now that they have people that can come into your home and help and can keep your loved one for you like a weekend so you could get away and that kind of thing. And if they had that 35 years ago, I don't know if they did or I didn't know about it anyway. I was not aware of any kind of service like that. And so that was very nice of that lady to call. So anyway, back to my saga. Let's see. So I was home, had kids, and things were getting a little tight, you know, 3 kids, 3 mouths to feed besides Bob and I, and Bob was having some trouble finding a job that paid well, and so we knew that I had to go to work. And so we came to the crossroads. Well, do I go to work without too much education and you know, make minimum wage and struggle, or do we struggle right now for another little bit and I'll go to nursing school and then, you know, I would have a career. So we decided to do the struggle. And so when my youngest child went to kindergarten, I went to school. I went to nursing school. I went to Nash Tech. It was still the Tech then. and I got a 2-year degree, associate's degree in nursing. You know, I'd always wanted to be a nurse, and every medical show that ever came on, I would watch. You know, I watched Emergency. I just thought that was so great to be in the emergency room and you know, be able to talk to the paramedics out in the field and that kind of thing, and treat people in you know, traumas and stuff like that. That was really my first love, was that. Now I sit and watch those on MeTV, and I think that is so unrealistic. But you know, I didn't know then, and so you know, I watched Dr. Marcus Welby and all of those. What was it? Something set in St. Elmo's Fire, I think, was a hospital show set in Boston. So I've always had that in my genes, I guess. I've always wanted to be a nurse as long as I could remember. So I got my associate's degree in nursing, and I went and worked at Mass General. I started on the 3rd floor, which was a telemetry, a cardiac unit at that time. I started as a nursing assistant. I worked 3-11 primarily, so that, you know, my kids had a parent home during the day and then their daddy at night. And so that was kind of my schedule. Then I went, after I finished my first semester, well, at my first year of nursing school, I was an LPN. So then I went from nursing assistant to LPN and continued to work in the same unit with the same nurses, and I got so much experience from those nurses and learned so much. And then I, you know, finished nursing school. I got my RN, and so then I worked as an RN there, and I was on that floor for several years. I don't remember exactly how long. But then there became an opening in the emergency room, and that's really where I'd wanted to be. I think I was up on the floor for 2 years, and then I went down to the ER. I worked in the ER for 13 years, and the first 12 were great. The last year I was so burnt out, and I just had to get out of there, and so I went into case management. And in the interim, I knew that I had to at least get a bachelor's degree. I could not, well, I could have stayed with my 2-year degree, but if I wanted to advance anyway, if I wanted to maybe go into education, I had to have a bachelor's degree. And so I started on that trek of working for my other 2-year part of my degree to get a bachelor's degree. Well, because I had gone to the tech, it wasn't a community college yet, so all the Englishes, all the maths, all those prerequisites that I took did not count towards a 4-year degree. So it took me 3 years to get a 2-year degree. It took me 7 years to get my 4-year degree because I worked full-time, had 3 kids, had a husband, and had to go to night school and, you know, pick up a class here and pick up a class there. But I finally finished. I got my bachelor's degree in nursing from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So at that time I was still at the hospital, and you know, when I went to the hospital, I really thought that I would stay there, work 25 or 30 years and retire from there. That was really my plan. Great place to work. I learned so much. The emergency room really helped me to learn how to be a nurse practitioner, because you know, when you walk into a room, you never know what you're going to see. I mean, you know, just yesterday I had a gentleman, a 55, 56-year-old fellow that had been in the emergency room, and so he was coming to see me for a follow-up to make sure he was doing well and that the medicine was working and that kind of thing. And so I just assumed it was going to be a zoop, 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 in and out. Yes, you're doing great. See ya. Follow up with your doctor, that kind of thing. Well, lo and behold, he's sitting in the room crying. He said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't slept for 3 days. And he was just a boo-hooing. And I felt bad for him. He was, I mean, it was a genuine concern. So you you've got written on your chart what you think it is, but then you walk in and it's a whole other thing. And that's how the emergency room is. You know, you never know what the patient's going to say and what the complaint's going to be when you walk in the door. So anyway, I got great experience there, and then I got really burnt out from the ER. The life of an ER nurse is 3 to 5 years. Well, I was there 13, 12, I don't know. A long time, 12 years I think. And so I had just gotten burnt out and I needed something else. And so I went into case management. And that was, you know, a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and only had to be on call so many weekends a year. And so, you know, it was just so much better. Because I had, at that point then, I had 17 years of weekends and holidays, and I was just done with all that. I wanted to be home on a Saturday night, into Saturday and Sunday. I wanted to go to church on Sunday. And so, I worked in case management, and I did not really like that position. It was nothing, you know, the management and everything was great. It wasn't them, it was me. It was just not a good fit for me. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to go get a master's degree, and I'm going to go teach at the community college. And so then I embarked on another 2-year adventure of getting a master's degree. I went to the University of Phoenix, and in the interim, of course, my kids have grown up. My 2 big ones are out of the house. My youngest one is still in high school, and we had plenty of issues. My husband and I separated for a year. I was raising my youngest son by myself, and I was working 5 jobs because he wasn't there. And so I sold jewelry, I sold Avon, I worked part-time at, then it was Abbott, now I think it's Pfizer. And I worked part-time for one of the local doctors here in town. And then of course I worked at in the ER. So I was always busy, always running, always doing, and that's kind of my personality. I'm always running, always going, always doing. So I got my master's degree in nursing education. But one of the reasons I had gone was because at that time, if you worked for the state for 5 years, you got your health insurance for free the rest of your life. And so that was kind of my goal. I was starting to look down the road towards I can't work forever, and insurance is expensive and that kind of thing. And so, of course, when I was in my master's program, the state decided that you had to work for 20 years to get your insurance for life. And I didn't think I had 20 years left in me. As I look back now, I probably would have, but I didn't know that at the time. And so that kind of put a kibosh on my teaching nursing. I did go and have an interview for a job, and they didn't hire me. They hired some guy who, of course, lasted about 10 months, and then he was long gone. But they wanted diversity in nursing, and I was you know, I wasn't diverse enough. I was an old white lady, and they wanted men, and they wanted more African Americans and more Hispanics, and so it's okay. I mean, you know, God lets everything happen for a reason. And so I was really, by this time, really fed up with case management. It just was not a good fit for me. It did not fit my personality. And my husband tried to tell me, he said, Linda, are you sure you want to do this? You're going to get by. Oh no, I get to go and I do this and I do that and I can walk around the hospital and blah, blah. No, it was not a good fit for me. He knew. I always have to find out the hard way, because I just sometimes don't think things through. So I was pretty miserable at my job. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I looked at every nursing job at the hospital, and whether I had the education or not, and said, would I do that? Would I want that? Could I do that? And nothing appealed to me. Absolutely nothing appealed to me. Bedside nursing no longer appealed to me. I just had to have something different. I was just burnt out. And so I said, okay, well, I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring, and I'm going to apply for nurse practitioner school. And who knew? I got in. It's very competitive. They only take 50 applicants out of, at that time, it was about 250 that would apply. I think part of the reason I got into school is because I already had a master's degree, and so I got a nurse practitioner certificate. I didn't get the I didn't have to do the whole, 2 years of a master's program for that. I already had the master's program. So I went to school. That was another, I guess, 2 years, even though, I mean, I didn't have to do everything, but it was still, everything's laid out, so you can't go at your pace. You've got to go at when the classes are offered. And so I went to, I got my bachelor's degree from Chapel Hill. I got my master's degree in education from University of Phoenix, and I got my nurse practitioner from ECU. So I'm a mixture of all sorts of pirates and Tar Heels and everything else. So then I got my nurse practitioner, and I had applied at a clinic here in town, and I was hired, and I went to take my test, and I failed my test. Boy, was that ever something when I had to go tell the doctor that I had been hired for that I hadn't passed my test. And so, that was very embarrassing. It was very embarrassing for me to have to go back to the hospital, and, people knew I had gone for my test. And, how'd you do, Linda? How'd you do? I failed. But God does everything for a reason. And so I went back and took it again, and obviously I passed. And by that time, the doctor that I had been hired for to work with at this other clinic had found another nurse practitioner. And so I just, started looking, and I applied at Family Medical, and that was where I was supposed to be. And I have bloomed where I've been planted for the last 10 years, and I've absolutely, thoroughly loved and enjoyed my job. I love and enjoy most of my patients, and I like having relationships with them, and I mean, it's just who I am. It's my personality. So, all right, we're gonna come back in a few minutes. It's time for our second break, and we'll continue with my saga. If you got a question or a comment, give me a call, 407-1111. See you in a minute.
At Downey's Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Downey's Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Downey's Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, welcome back. Hello, hello. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center, and this is Here's to Your Good Health. And we've been talking about me tonight. I'm kind of sick of talking about me, so I wish somebody would call and ask a question. But I will continue with my saga. And so I've been at Family Medical for 10 years. It's been a great experience, a great learning experience. I've really learned how to be, I think, a good provider. I try to be. I try to really dig down and find out why people are having pain here or having a problem there. I love my patients. For the most part, I love getting up and going to work. So Thursdays are always kind of tough. It's my last day. I'm off on Fridays. And I do a lot during the week, so I get tired, hence I yawn on television. But I'm very big into essential oils, and I have a Medi-Spa that I'm working on to promote and to help people with, primarily women with menopausal symptoms, hot flashes, perimenopausal symptoms, weight gain, that kind of thing. So that's I tell everybody that's my next job. I'll retire from Family Medical, but I don't really plan on retiring. I had some surgery in November, and I was home. I was supposed to be home for 6 weeks, and by week 5, I said, I have got to go back to work. I cannot do this. So I learned real quick that staying home all the time is not for me. So as long as I've got a good head on my shoulders and can make good solid judgments and have the physical ability to walk up and down from one room to another, I will continue to be there. I think at some point down the road I might cut back and do like 3 days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. And then, you know, be off the other days to pursue my other crafts, so to speak, my other positions, and you know, have a little bit more time. I really like to garden. I really like to spend time outside, and I get frustrated when I can't do it because I've got so many other commitments. So I'd like to do some of that. I like to have both flower gardens and vegetable gardens. We can a lot. Matter of fact, I ate some applesauce tonight that I had canned. So, you know, I make pickled beets, I freeze corn. I've tried pickles. If anybody has a good dill pickle recipe, but I want them crunchy. And there's a trick, and I haven't learned that trick. I can make a sweet pickle or bread and butter pickle, but I don't like those as much. I really prefer the dill. So I have attempted to make my own pickles. I'm not very good at that. I quit that. So I don't have a good way to preserve cucumbers, although I've started fermenting some things. I've got some fermented carrots I'm getting ready to try. I put those in the pantry a couple months ago, because fermented food is so good for you, and it's really good for gut health. Fermented foods, you know, our gut holds 70 to 80% of our immune system in it. So you want to have a good, healthy gut. And probiotics is good for your gut, and fermented foods is good for your gut. Sourdough bread, because that's fermented, is good. That kind of thing. So I like to preserve. I like to cook when I have time. I hate to cook when I'm pressed for time. And you know, I like to do crafts. I do, for the last 10 years, I've done a craft every Christmas, and give all the employees at the office a little gift from me. I've been doing that for about 10 years now, and that's pleasurable to me. I enjoy that. I don't want to sit and do crafts all the time. I love to read. I don't want to sit and read all the time. I do puzzles. I'm working on a 1,000-piece now, and it's about ready to, if I come in here next week and don't have any hair left, you'll know that the puzzle got to me. And so those are kind of some of the things that I like to do. I'm very into my church. I love to pray. I love to go to church. I love to read my word. I get up every morning 20 minutes early, make my coffee, sit in my chair, and I read the Bible through a year. This is my 3rd year doing it, and I'm learning something every time. It's really amazing how, even though you've read it before, it's different this time. So that's excuse me, about me. Like I said, I will continue to pursue and work on my craft of nursing. And I'm a big proponent of nursing. I have students. I have an ECU student right now that comes twice a week. I enjoy that. I remember having to do my own training with nurse practitioners, and that time I think I had to do 750 hours, and so that gets to be a lot of hours when you've got to, you know, add them all up. But I learned a lot through that too. I love to learn. I'm always reading a book about this, that, or the other. I enjoy learning. I watch a lot of PBS, you know, and learn from those programs that they have. And I'm not a big TV watcher. I put TV on for the noise because I live in the country and it's quiet. And I'm getting used to the quiet now, but when I first moved out there, it drove me nuts. So I listen to a lot of YouTube. I watch YouTube videos. I watch church videos. I watch cooking videos. I watch essential oil videos. I do a lot of that, and I put that on to have noise while I'm cooking or cleaning or whatever I do at home. So I've got 3 kids. My daughter lives here in town. She's married. She has 1 daughter who is out at Nash Community College in cosmetology school. My daughter teaches at Nash Community College. She's a department head. She heads up early childhood development, cosmetology, culinary arts, and maybe one other thing that I don't remember. She just took on that position about a year ago. So I'm really proud of her because she has worked very hard. She's got a master's degree. She had her child and was not married, and Phoebe was 2. And she decided that she needed to go to a particular master's program that was in Boston, Massachusetts. And so here she takes her 2-year-old child under her wing. I went up there with her and helped her move in and got her settled. And she was up there for 2 years, single mom, working part-time and going to school full-time. So she took after my footsteps, I guess, as far as pursuing learning, and she knew that she had to have a good job to be able to support her daughter because the daddy wasn't really involved. And so I'm really proud of her for all of her accomplishments. My oldest son lives in Elm City, which is over by Cooper School, and he drives truck for Cisco Foods, and so he delivers food to restaurants, and sometimes it's like nursing homes and hospitals, and he was originally hired last year with Cisco to deliver food to schools. Well, then that had to get changed because they're not, they don't have as much food and feeding at schools right now with all this COVID stuff. So he's got 5 children. 2 live with their mother in Florida, and oh, somebody's calling me, yay! Hey, this is Linda. How are you?
I'm fine, honey. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I just want to ask you one thing right quick. Steve Mixon, is he still in Rocky Mount?
I don't know. He was working at the hospital as a hospitalist, and I haven't heard his name lately, so I don't know if he's still here or not.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because I liked him so much.
Right. He was a good provider, and he had this show before I came on. He left, and then they hired me. So I can thank Steve for that.
Well, I will hope to see him again one day.
Yeah. I'll have to find out. If I find out, I'll announce it on the show.
Okay, honey.
All right. Thanks for calling. You have a great night.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
That's great. Yeah, Steve, he was here before me. I'm not sure how long he did this program. And he left town. He moved maybe Arizona or somewhere out west. And so then it's kind of funny. I don't know if I have enough time to tell this story, but Family Medical Center had won the Chamber's Business of the Year several years ago. And so we went, there was a big banquet, and I was invited. I went, my husband went. And my husband had known Herb for a long time. Herb started this TV station. And so he told my husband that night, he said, we're looking for somebody for our health program, and your wife comes very highly recommended. I'm like, who in the heck knows me that would, recommend this? And I was scared to death to come. I was scared to death to talk in front of people, and, I didn't know what I'd say or how I'd do it. But that was about 8 years ago, so I guess I figured it out. So anyway, they hired me, and so I've been here, I think it's about 8 years. It's been quite a while now. So that's how my end of Here's to Your Good Health got started. So it is time for me to say goodnight. Thanks for listening to my saga. Oh, let me finish my children. I'm sorry. My oldest son has 5 children. 2 live in Florida with their mom. 1 just graduated from college, and 1 just started college. Then he's got 2 that live with their mom in Nashville, We don't judge with all the marriages. And they see their daddy every other weekend, and so we get together as a family frequently on the weekends when he has all the children. And then he is married for the 3rd time to a wonderful daughter-in-love, I call her, and they have a little girl. So his children range from 22 to 4. And then my youngest son lives in Asheville. He is not married and has no children. So that's me and my family, and we will see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. I think I've got Dr. Robertson, the eye doctor, next week. So if you've got questions, think about them now. Talk about those cataracts and retina specialists and all that kind of stuff. So you have a blessed evening, and I'll see you next week. Good night.
you.